Hey, Blaze here. And so the coalition announced their housing policy, and Labor announced their housing policy that they're taking to the next election. I think it's important to note that like this is the policies that were announced, but also there's things like Help to Buy and the Housing Australia Future Fund and Build to Rent. I'm pretty sure the coalition voted against all of those, and they have promised to rip I think it's now like 10.5 billion out of the Housing Australia Future Fund. I think they've promised to rip that out. So at the moment, there's like over 13,500 houses in the pipeline. There's another funding round going on soon. After the election, I think it'll be announced and whatever. But so that's thousands of houses that are currently being built um, nationally via the HAF. That'll get scrapped. So it's not just these policies, okay? Now, these are the policies that say this is how we're going to help you buy a house. All right. Coalition says we'll make it tax deductible, your interest repayments on mortgages. The interest payments will make it tax deductible. So if you're paying something like if you're paying like a $500,000 mortgage and it's something like, 6%, and I don't know, it's like 3 grand repayments every month. But then you get charged something like 1,400 in interest, every month as well. So you're only paying a chunk of it, something like that. So you add that up to the end of the year, yeah, that's like 12 grand a year in interest repayments or something that you save. There you go. So, tax deduction. Cool. So you'll get that back at the end of the year, a tax deduction, I guess. Um, so that's like mortgage repayments will be cheaper, but also this takes money out of the public purse. They're, the Liberals always do this. They say we're going to make cuts, but then they also cut their own funding. So it's like canceling Netflix and then quitting your job, right? So down here, they also have their Super for Housing scheme, which I believe is um, up to 100,000 or 40% of your super. That's going to massively inflate housing prices because people who had like 20 grand, well, now they've got potentially 120 grand, right? Because they could just rip it out of their retirement fund. And when they're 60 and, they have no retirement fund, they'll be fine, because they'll have paid off their house. That's the theory, right? But it's pretty gross. I don't think we should sacrifice our future for, an early house. I'd much prefer Labor's version. So Labor reckons only 5% deposit for your mortgage now. They'll guarantee the remaining 15% of a mortgage normally covered by a deposit to avoid having to take out lender's mortgage insurance. And they've gotten rid of the cap. So now, if you have 50 grand, you could take out an $800,000 loan instead of, a $250,000 loan. So, that's massive. You can actually buy a house and save up for a house, like buy it, and it's a realistic prospect now with that kind of thing. Now, both of these will increase housing prices, because anything the where you increase demand, anything that increases demand um, will increase prices. Duh, everyone knows that. Labor also says, oh, but we're going to build 100,000 homes over 8 years, so. Okay, we're investing another 10 billion in, 2 billion to grants to the states and territories, interest-free loans or equity investments, 8 billion. We're going to speed up houses, get 100,000 homes over 8 years. Done. So that is increasing supply, so should balance out. Labor's proposal should probably balance out the house price increase thing, whereas the Liberals one is like, that's setting that's setting a house on fire, and Labor is like lighting a candle. Yes, they're both adding warmth. But right down at the bottom, it's pretty great. he goes, look, there's probably about 700,000 people that would be helped by housing stalling or going down in price, and there's like 11 to 13 million that have at least one home that they own. So it's politically unviable. Like, oh my God, both of the majors are doing something that will appeal to most Australians. Yep, what do you know? So I'm very sorry that this is the situation that Australia's in. Um, but yeah, I think Labor's plan's way better, especially with all the other stuff that they've already done that needs time to come to fruition. Um, it was delayed for 2 years, so there's some blame to go around there as to why it took 2 years. Anyway, it's really good though. Um, I have friends and family who will be able to get into the housing market with Labor's plan. Um, they still wouldn't be able to get into the housing market with the Liberals' plan. The Liberals' plan is, hey, if you already have tens of thousands of dollars lying around in your super that you don't feel like you'll need, feel free to spend it on a house. I think that's pretty gross. Um, I'm in my 30s and I wouldn't be able to take 100 grand out of my super. 40%, I wouldn't be able to get 50 grand out. So, yeah, I feel like a lot of people my age, the super thing, it doesn't even touch us. Yeah, it's just pathetic. Anyway, yeah, there you go.